So Mike, please introduce yourself and tell us how did you get into restoring cars?
Hi, yeah, my name is Mike Grims. I started restoring cars at probably 15 years old. Started working on cars and I've worked on them ever since. Started Coachwerks in the early 90s and yeah, this is where we are today. We've got a crew of about 30 techs and our facility is about 30,000 square feet.
Oh, wow. So Mike, here we have Isetta, right? So what can you tell us about the bodywork and what should people look at before getting into a project?
Your bodywork is going to be your single greatest expense in restoration, whether it be the Isetta or a 300 SL. The difference between the Isetta, even the Volkswagen, and the 300 SL is we can acquire parts, replacement body panels for this Isetta, the Volkswagen. We can't for the 300 SL.
Oh, I see.
Everything is handmade for the 300. But there is parts readily available for the Isetta, as you already know, which certainly speeds the whole process up considerably.
So if you don't have to fabricate all the parts.
That's right. Yeah, that becomes very labor intensive and very expensive.
So Mike, how do the restoration, all the restorations are different? Or for example, you're known to restore 300 SL, Going and Coupe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of them are different or all of it is the same or you exactly know what you're doing?
Well, every car is a little different. You know, they've been on the planet for, 60 years. So, they are all a little different for sure. And, depending on what region they come from, we have a Roadster outside that is from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and the humidity there is basically corroded the car inside and out. So it makes for a tough repair, a lot of hand fabricated panels, very time consuming process.
Oh, I see. Do tiny cars like this bring a challenge as well, or it's like?
Well, we don't do a lot of Isettas, so the challenge here is just making sure our restoration is accurate.
Oh, I see.
That we, and what compounds the challenge sometimes with not only the Isetta, any of these projects, is that people have been in here and worked here before.
Yeah.
So the authenticity of the car has been compromised. So if we have a vehicle that's just rusty, but the integrity of the original construction is still there, that certainly is a bonus for us. When we have, previous collision repair damage, rust repair damage, that compounds the challenge. We have to get all that out and get the car back to its original design. And so we're not always working with an accurate template in those situations.
And Mike, you think how long will this car take to get restored, or for example, the body?
Well, there's always starts and stops depending on parts sometimes, but a car such as this one here, I think that, if we're able to leave a technician on it, the body process, I would think it would be approximately a month, to get this body all finished, and then it would go to the paint.
In the end of, what is the inspection process? So do you inspect the paint in the end? How does it work? You have to sand the paint down on everything?
As far as our process goes, it's the same, regardless of whether it's 300 SL or Isetta. All our techs are trained to follow the same procedure. And what that does at the other end is give us that concourse level product. And so, that's what's important here is our process, that we don't deviate from that regardless of what vehicle it is. And then we're inspecting it along the way to ensure integrity of the structure itself, as well as the fit and finish at the other end in the paint department.
Oh, I see. So all your cars that you restore are concourse condition?
They do. They all come out basically at a concourse level.
Oh, I see. So Mike, can you share the story or something related to Isetta, how did you remember them in 90s? Were they driven a lot or something like that?
You know, being our climate here, I haven't seen a lot of them being driven necessarily, but certainly in private collections. You know, I have a friend who's owned a series of them, including the limousine. His focus was the BMW Isetta, but as you know, they were built around the world, I guess. They're very interesting little micro cars that were, you know, the first smart cars, really, you know. Yeah, they're fun little cars, for sure.
You know what interests me in Isetta's, Mike, the first time I saw this car, right, was the internet and
Right.
how the door opens,
Right.
how slow it is.
Yes,
It was ugly, that's why it was beautiful.
yes.
What I like about this car is basically when it's restored, what I'm going to do is drive it straight into my living room.
Well, you know, and I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah.
The size, right? It's such a interesting automobile.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at the history of automobiles, and they're always trying the economy
Yes.
of what they were trying to do here. And I think it's iconic in that regard. And it's certainly collectible. It's a little piece of automotive art, in my opinion.
Mike, what do you think the future value on these cars? Do you think they'll be climbing or do you think there's just a standstill now?
You know, I think there's still room in this market. You know, although my focus isn't this market, I've seen the cars appreciate over time, and the survival rate is low. So, you know, with less cars out there and more interest, just like anything, it'll drive that market up.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome.
I just gave a deposit to Mike and I'll keep you updated on the process of the restoration. Stay tuned and I'm really excited.